You know how you go, well, I don't know, maybe you don't, but I do. I go away and chew on a problem, and then something comes to mind. And so it is with this Genco scoring wheel. I'll tell you for why. To make a wheel like this, you've got to be tooled up for it, haven't you? Why would Genco go to all the trouble of making different wheels with contacts? Well, they may have done with later ones because they may have had more contacts, but I've seen these wheels used on a couple of Gencos from around that period, sort of 37, 38. Maybe they went until 39, I don't know. But why would they want to keep altering them for all the contacts? If you were Genco and you were turning out pinballs at the rate that they were in their heyday, you'd have a box full of these, wouldn't you? The only thing you would change is the contacts on the phenolic board. I presume it's phenolic, is it? Sort of basically an early circuit board material, is it Bakelite? I don't know. Phenolic, we'll call it phenolic. It's much easier to change the contacts on that than it is to say to some weedy little guy at the end of the workshop, he's probably serving his apprenticeship. It's the only job he's had since he left high school, you know, and there he is, little Jimmy at the end of the workshop. Jimmy, can you change all the contacts on those wheels? They're not going to do it, is they? Are they? I mean, it just doesn't make sense from a manufacturing point of view. Far easier to have a stack of these things made by either in-house or outside by some engineering company. Makes 1,000 of them, mate. Rather than making this problem probably more complicated than it is, and me thinking, well, how much different is the other wheel? Certainly the amount of contacts around both, the outside contacts, are the same to both. There's 23 of them, the large ones. On the right-hand wheel, there are 10 smaller contacts, but they're always in step with the contacts on the outside. On the left-hand one, there's 11. So it just may mean that the wheel on the left-hand one goes one extra notch. That's my guess. So maybe I'm making this more, well, it's still going to be difficult to make it, isn't it? But maybe I'm making this far more complicated than it needs to be. I'm just thinking, if you were making them by hand, well, you know, you make what you make. But if you're churning out a lot of them and you found a system that works, that they obviously did during those mid-30s, they liked these wheels, they didn't run with them forever, and they perhaps had bigger ones with more complicated machines. But certainly during that period, these would have been generic at Genco. Might be worth having a look through there is a parts catalogue. I think it's more 40s and 50s, but have a look and see if this wheel actually crops up anywhere. Anyway, that's my thoughts for the day, which has cheered me up, to be honest. And I'm also pleased that it's made out of copper. Initially I just put a steel ruler against it, and I thought it was about 1 mil. Just shows you can't be accurate with a ruler. I use calipers on it, and it's 1.2 mil. So I found a place online that does guillotine offcuts, and they're going to send me a piece of copper sheet, 1.2 mil thick, 100 mil by 100 mil. Technically, because this is 50 mil, I could just about make 2 out of it if I wanted. My thinking is just copy what's here and apply it to the right-hand wheel. I don't think these contacts are going to be in a different place. And in fact, I looked at another Genco. I've messaged the guy just to ask him in case he's ever taken the thing apart, to see whether these contacts are in exactly the same places. They appear to be on his illustration, and he's got 2 wheels, and they seem to be in the same places. The only things that might be different, possibly this bracket, you know, maybe one of the stops. This appears right, but you know, that or that could be different on the 2 wheels. But Okay, make them without those initially, and then add them when the time comes. That's my thinking for the day. So that makes it episode 161. I shall let you go away and think about that. You have to sort of pose these things, don't you? And also, I was talking to a school buddy of mine who's a very seasoned lady who's trained as a tool fitter, Graham. And we were discussing this. And I said it's interesting, isn't it, that today, if something breaks down, we just chuck it in the bin. But years ago, we'd repair them. And you certainly would with something like this. But who would you go to now to fix something like that? Who would you go to if you said, make me one of those? You're going to struggle, aren't you? They're going to be little old boys, aren't they? Or just people that, you know, like my friend Graham, who not only worked on a lathe for a living, he loved it. He really enjoyed it. And, of course, he's got that much experience behind him. Same with my friend Roger down in Clacton. He's exactly the same. And you just take anything to these guys and they go, yeah, well, you could do it this way, you could do it that way. Where are you going to find that kind of experience, that kind of expertise? But as I say, I won't give up. I'm sure this is doable. So my gut feeling is make a copy of this wheel, put it on the right hand side, and there's a good 99% chance that it will work. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe.